want to start out by saying I appreciate everybody coming out on a Sunday afternoon. There's a lot going on. Had the football game yesterday. Women's game played on Friday. We're in the midst of 3 games in 6 days ourselves. So appreciate everybody coming out. Students have been incredible all 3 games, and again, everybody makes a huge difference, but there's something different about college basketball when the students are really into it and rocking it. So don't want to take that lightly. As far as the game went, I thought the first 15 minutes was probably the best 15 minutes of defensive basketball that we've played since we've been together. Our hand activity was really was really good, and made it hard on them, and that led to transition and good offense flow, and the ball was moving, and kind of saw us at what could be our best. Everybody was involved early. Everybody was making shots. Thought Belo and Harlan really did a good job of anchoring us, and really challenged our guys. At halftime, we knew that they had outscored Houston in the second half at Houston, which is not easy to do. Again, you guys follow the league and follow the Big 12. That's not just something that happens. And so we knew what they were capable of. Was disappointed with our start, but you also got to give them credit. It's easy to maybe look only at what you did or didn't do without giving any credit to the opponent. And thought 4 had a really good start to the second half, and we weathered it, and just had that one little last push at the end of the game to tie them in the second half, which is what we talked about at halftime.
Questions, please.
Ross, how much does Brennen's game expand if he's able to shoot threes like that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and he shot a very high percentage last year on low volume, and we've been talking a little bit about trying to increase his volume from there. But he's a very unselfish player, and he doesn't force, and the game kind of opened up for him in that regard today. And when he's making those, it just increases the space for everybody else. And especially on a night that Trey and Honor didn't shoot it great, to have him step up and go 3 for 4 really gives him what people say, like the three level scorer, at the rim and the mid range, and then when he's making that, and he's such a willing passer as well.
Coach, you come up with an emphasis to push the ball in transition a little bit more. It seemed like during that stretch of the first half you talked about, you really got some good early opportunities.
Yeah, you always want to play with pace. Some of it is again, we were able to turn them over and force them into some tough shots that led to long rebounds, and we were able to get out and run, and the game had some flow to it. And, you're just able to kind of get into those organic actions quicker, and the ball moves quicker. And, like anything else, too, I think your third game, you start getting your game legs under you a little bit better. And, that's part of playing with pace, too. If we're exerting as much effort and energy as we are on the defensive end of the floor, sometimes it's hard to run, and like we talked about on the opener, you're going to rest on offense. So, but it was good to see, and I thought the first 15 minutes was really a good example of like, hey, this is how we would like to play.
Coach, you talked about that first 15 minutes being some of the best defense you've seen for your team all season so far. So what are you saying then in the timeouts, since it was such a great start? How do you kind of keep it going? Yeah,
you challenge them to just keep executing. Keep executing, keep playing possession by possession, do your job during that moment regardless of time, whether you're up 20, down 20, they're on a run, you're on a run. Just try to keep executing each play, and it's hard because human nature does kick in a little bit, but that's the challenge, and that's what great teams do, and that's what we would like to be.
Take on Pitt on Thursday, first Power 4 opponent of the season. How do you prepare the guys for this game a little differently? And then obviously you had 3 games in 6 days with a little bit extra time. What do you focus on in that?
So the first part of your question, haven't thought a ton about that specifically quite yet, because we have just been in these 3 games in 6 days, and really you're just trying to beat Mount St. Mary's, then you're trying to do everything you can to beat Campbell, and then we're trying to do everything we can to beat Lehigh. I've thought about the Pitt game. I mean, I would sit here and I ain't going to tell you like since I've gotten this job, like I've thought about it. But as far as preparation or messaging or any of that, won't really start getting into that stuff until Tuesday.
Ross, what would we like to practice a couple times?
That's good. That will be good, man. So we talked about it. When all you've done is practice since June 1st, you need to play games. And now that you've played 3 games in 6 days, what you actually need is a little rest and you need practice. So you can kind of fine-tune some things. You can clean up some things on both ends of the floor and just continue to try to get executing better. And it makes more sense now. And I love our guys. They're super coachable, but like anything else, I got 2 kids, right? So my daughter, Emery, she was the person that had to learn the hard way. So if you told her the stove was hot, she was going to touch it anyways just to see how hot it was. Reed, my second, he just would listen to you. So now you actually have film against other people when you can say, hey, in practice, you can say, hey, this won't work. But if it's just practice, sometimes now you can show them in games hey, this doesn't work, regardless of who your opponent is. It's not going to work.
Coach, kind of on Lorient's three-point shooting, you mentioned his percentage last year, 11 of 23, almost 50%. Doesn't take a lot of shots. What was his three-point role last year at North Texas? Was he just kind of developing it late, or you just didn't ask him to shoot threes? Or
no, again, he's just he's an unselfish player, and so. The backstory a little bit, he didn't play a ton on the Final Four team at Florida Atlantic. The next year, he played more and actually made a very big 3 against us to kind of beat us when he was at Florida Atlantic. We were at North Texas. But you're still talking he was a, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th option on that team. Then he gets to our team last year and he's still figuring out exactly how to be a scorer and where his spots are going to be, and he's unselfish. He makes the right play. So if he catches the ball and he's not open, he won't force. And so, but when it's working, then it's on us as a coaching staff to figure out a way to get him some more catch and shoot opportunities. And when he made a couple today, I was like, okay, this could work.
In your history, player or coach, have you had a rivalry game like West Virginia Pitt is? And then with that in mind, do you try to deliver some sort of message with so many new players who are probably unfamiliar with it?
Well, I had this job for about 1 minute, and somebody told me, so I don't think anyone associated with our program doesn't understand how big the game is, and you can coach speak it, you can ignore it, but that would be disingenuous. It means a lot to this state. It means a lot to our fan base. It means a lot to us. And, I have been in games that at the time were equally as impactful to me in my career. It may not just mean that much to anybody else, but when I was at Paris Junior College and you were playing, Tyler Junior College for the first time, or Navarro, or, when you're at, any of those, you're at Midland and you're playing Odessa, they're 20 minutes from each other, at the time, that's massive. And it doesn't feel that different in a weird way, to you. Now, this one, it means so much more to so many more people. And then, once the ball goes up, then it really kind of does turn back into can you execute at the highest level that you can? You're going to play with intensity and passion and energy, but it really does. Can you play with emotion but not emotional? Can you execute what you're supposed to do? Can you not let the game itself break you down?
With the 3 games already under your belt, what would you like to see your team improve on?
Everything. Yeah, everything. I think it's generic, but really what you're just trying to do is, if you today, I would think we played I haven't watched the film, but I would think we played probably 20 minutes collectively of like, man, this is good basketball and good execution. 10 sloppy, 15 bad. And what you're really just trying to do is, can you take that 20, make it 25 and then you just want to keep extending it where you're playing really good stretches. Mentioned it the other night after the Campbell game. Some of it is individual players being more consistent, our habits being more consistent, and me as a coach figuring out better ways to coach us during games. I don't think there's just like one thing that you can pinpoint and be like, man, we have to improve at this, because we have to improve at everything.
Ross, I guess any chance you get Fields back soon?
Good question. Probably not for Thursday. And I'll be transparent. He did partake for like live scrimmaging for the first time on Friday. It was with our kind of some lower minute guys and got in some simulated game, and that's his next progression will be, full practices, and as that continues to unfold, then he'll get closer and closer. But he has participated in some live scrimmage situations.
Eagles staff, I don't want to project, but the other day he was saying that he's trying to find his way with other high-level players, whereas he was the guy before. Mm-hmm. How do you counsel him through that to make sure he's not hanging his head and trying to do too little?
Yeah, just encourage him to keep being aggressive and decisive and be himself. That's kind of our messaging to him, man. Just be aggressive, be decisive, and be who you are, man. And he's a good basketball player. He has a great feel, and more often than not, he makes the right play. But we need him to be aggressive, It doesn't mean you always got to shoot it, but you just got to be aggressive.
Coach, there was a play. It was very early in the game. I think it was maybe the second bucket for you guys. But Harlan kind of throws that no-look pass from the foul line to Brenen on the baseline.
Cut, yeah.
Obviously, you guys said he was a pass-first kind of guy, a few weeks ago, but that just seemed like a play that you just don't see 7-foot guys.
Yeah, no, it's that was great observation, and it's a scenario we drill a lot, and he just executed it. He got to the short in that coverage and popped his feet, and he has good vision, and he's got great touch, and he can pass the ball, and he was a tad late on another one. He kind of threw it just a tad late to Amir, and it put Amir a little bit under the basket, but him and Belo and DJ and even Jackson, when he gets back, they're all very unselfish and willing passers from that position.
Anything else?
Lehigh scored on their first possession on that back door, and I know that's something you don't want to give up. Is that kind of like a wake-up call to the guys? Who are like, oh, okay, now we're in the game. Like, no.
I think that's, to me, that's a credit to their coach, and they hadn't ran that play yet. And they executed the timing of it perfect and kind of went away from it second and lifted our help out of the rim and just one step, and it's a timing play. And so I think it was just again, you kind of tip your hat to them and that staff, and I have to explain to my own mom sometimes, like, hey, they have a coach too, and they got good players, and they're actually trying to win the game too.
Coach, thank you.
All right, thank y'all.